My dad was really, really special, and I loved my dad a lot.
I'm proud of him, and that even though he isn't here with us, but he died as a true hero.
I miss everything about him.
In the moment that the officers and I had to come see the children, my biggest reaction was, I don't have 7 arms. I have 7 children who just lost their father, and I don't have 7 arms to wrap around them.
I'm Frank Silla, chairman of the Stephen Silla Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Our foundation is committed to delivering mortgage-free homes for Gold Star families and fallen first responder families.
To not have to worry financially is a huge peace of mind. The thought of, what in the world will I possibly do to pay the bills? How will I possibly let the children have a life that feels normal? I don't want them to have to quit their piano lessons or their basketball. I don't want them to feel that we have to move into a little apartment and struggle financially in addition to the emotional weight.
There are over 1,000 families that need our help. Tunnel to Towers is honoring those heroes that risked their lives by providing them with mortgage-free homes.
Those who serve us and then lay down their lives protecting our freedoms and our safety, the least we can do is $11 a month to give them that peace of always knowing there's a home, there's that sanctuary when life feels like it's been tipped upside down, because it has, when you lose a parent in the line of duty, to know you can go home, you can be safe, there's no risk of losing your home. That's a peace of mind that I can't believe you can get for $11 a month.
I'd like to ask you to contribute $11 a month to support their efforts.
Please donate $11 a month by calling 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
The way I always do. How was I to know she was with the Russians too? I was gambling in Havana. I took a little risk. Send lawyers, guns, and money. Dad, get me out of this. Ha!
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody?
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Otherwise known as Chat Lives Matter Night, right here live on KLR Radio. So if you've been hanging out with us for all 4 hours, you had America Off the Rails as an impromptu bonus edition because Stacy was working. Then we had the Conservative Curmudgeon. Then we simulcast Behind Enemy Lines Radio, where myself and Ordy basically stormed the beaches and took over his studio. It was fun, though. And now you have us as your closing act here on KLR Radio. I would like to thank everybody who took the time to hang out with Gene's feed. Thanks to you guys and all you lovely folks. He actually broke triples on his X feed for the first time ever, which makes me really proud since I feel like we had a lot to do with that. So I want to thank all of you who tune in to us on a regular basis. I don't feel like we say this enough, but you guys are absolutely amazing. And between the 2 feeds and the YouTubes and the Rumbles, I'm pretty sure we filled probably pretty close to 2 full movie theaters. So that's a lot of seats if you think about it. Anyway, so how are you, Amish? And before we get too far with that, happy birthday. Where'd Amish go? Did I lose Amish? I think I lost Amish. He's here.
No, I just muted because I'm a retard. I coughed and forgot to uncough or unmute.
You do that a lot. And the funny thing is, when you first started talking, it should have reminded you were muted.
Well, that also comes up when I cough, so I've learned to just look through it. So
nice. Anyway,
it's like when my first wife was talking. You're just like, what? So, sorry. Hang on. Okay,
No,
so thank you for one. Appreciate it. That was really good birthday because I finally got fucking unsuspended.
I know, right?
Yeah, so I'm back and I'm here to make it everybody else's problem.
Well, I mean, that's what you do no matter where you are. So
right.
I mean, at least you're consistent.
No matter where I go, there I am.
And you're always a pain in the ass, but at least you're consistent.
Exactly. So, okay, I need you to help me out with something. I was out of pocket most of the day.
Yep.
What the fuck is the Eamhoff smack a bitch thing? Because I can't even find anything about it on Twitchy.
No, it's everywhere. It's been on Red State. I think it's been on, and the New York Post actually broke the story. Apparently, some 12 odd years ago, homeboy smacked the crap out of his girlfriend in a public venue, apparently, allegedly, so hard that she spun around in a circle because she was flirting with somebody else.
Well, that kind of tracks, don't it?
Yeah, so one of my favorite too soon but funny as hell memes that I saw today was the Vance gif frozen right at the point where it was side eye, and it said the feeling you have when Doug Imhoff's girlfriend says she fell down a flight of stairs. I was like, ouch, too soon but funny. And then Fuzzy Chimp,
that's 12 years ago.
Fuzzy Chimp got in on the action too, and even Sam was like, "Too soon, bro, too soon." But yeah, I don't think Twitchy wrote about it because reasons. Because it's still
no. I get why they didn't, but still, I thought he was just trying to be the model of modern masculinity.
I mean, he is if you're Neanderthal.
Yeah.
So this brings up an interesting point.
I will never hit a woman, but I will smack a bitch. Off, probably.
You know what this means? He's from tribe Slapaho.
Right.
He's from the Slapaho tribe. Anyway, but this brings up an interesting point that we didn't really get to from the debate last night. There have been lots of on Gene's show, or even last night because it didn't really break until today. But there have been lots of body language folks talking about the body language differences between Vance and Walz. And one of the things that got brought up was that deer in the headlights face that Walz kept making. And one person who is like big in micro expressions was like, yeah, that's a sign that you're either lying or tap dancing because you have no idea what to say. And then somebody else was like, or it could just mean that you're overly excited about what you're trying to say. And yeah, and I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure it's the first one.
Yeah, no, it's the former.
Dude has lied about everything.
Every fucking thing.
All the things. All over and over and over again. Dude has been caught out in lie after lie after lie. And you have to wonder. Granted, this was one of those things. This thing was all slapped together ramshackle because it's like I said on Gene's show. The part that nobody talks about was this was ultimately designed to save Democratic fundraising because everything had dried up. Nobody was willing to donate to the Biden-Harris group anymore because they could see the writing on the wall and there was no way that they were going to win. So that's when Nancy Pelosi and a bunch of folks behind the scenes says, we got to do something. So then they threw old man off the bus, which I think Kamala Harris probably took a little bit of pleasure in since he was the old man trying to keep her off the bus to begin with way, way back in the day. I'm just throwing that out there now. But the whole thing about all of this is this was the best you could pick. I mean, was this just because they knew how bad she was? And I mean, I know she says she's the one that ultimately made the decision and she was all sleep deprived and shit, but we all know better than that. There's a whole group of people that are running this woman. So she can say he was her pick all she wants to, but we all know that he wasn't her pick. Somebody else picked him for her. This man should have been vetted much better because he's been lying to the American people now for at least a decade on repeated issues. I mean, look, I grew up in a time when we lied to our friends for fun, so I don't really have any issue with people embellishing to a point. But when you start embellishing about serious things, like I was in combat or I watched Tiananmen Square from Tiananmen Square, not from freaking bumfuck Ohio or wherever the hell he was at the time.
Kansas, like that, like that's even real.
And I'm just like, I just, there has to come a time when you have to realize when there is a party that is lying to you about everything and lying to your faces over and over and over again, and the whole time telling you that our side is the one that's lying to them. I mean, this is the epitome of the line from 1984.
No, it just totally tracks with everything because you got Biden, who is a career fucking plagiarist. You got Kamala, who used to smoke joints listening to Tupac when she's older than I am. Then I mean, no, this is just because they know they're not going to get fact checked. The thing that okay, I say this often, and it still amazes me after nearly 20 years. The left considers themselves the tech savvy party. We run the internet. Meanwhile, I mean, and that may have been true back in the early days of Obama, but they still haven't figured out that the crowdsource autism of the internet will out every one of your lies and turn it into an effective meme. Not the see, and that's the difference. That's why the left can't meme, which again, you'd think that if someone who owned the tech would figure out how to meme, is they reply on fucking Grant Stern's Occupy Democrats memes that are there's no basis in truth to them. So that's why they're crap, and that's why they're not even funny, and then they're like 3 pages long and just fucking tiresome. Because if you can't, Lewis Black once said, if you can't describe what you do for a living in one sentence or less, it's illegal. And that's the same with leftist memes. The reason why they're so wordy is because they're absolute bullshit. So yeah, of course, but they know the media isn't going to call out their lies. They just haven't come to terms with the fact of how effective the internet is at exposing them because they still rely on legacy media.
Well, I mean, and this feeds into something else that I feel is really important to be talking about right now because and this is for those of you that may be listening that are still potentially on the fence, which at this point I'm not sure how anybody could be, but let's assume that somebody is. If you are still on the fence, I want you to think about something because a lot of you that are listening right now and watching wherever you're watching from, you're here all the time. I need you to understand that if Kamala Harris wins, KLRM Radio won't be around much longer because they've already said they're going to come after everybody that they consider disinformation. They're going to go after the bigger guys first, so it'll take them longer to get to us, but they will get to us, and then they're going to make it the point where the only people you get your news from are the main news carriers again because that's what they want. They have lost control of the gates and they want control of the gates again because there are people that are in bigger groups than us, smaller groups than us, that are all trying to bring the truth into their own little circles and show you guys different points of view. And they can't have that. They don't want that. And trust me, and I talked about this today, the dirty little secret that nobody's talking about is one of the reasons why X is being attacked in so many other countries where the laws allow them to do it is because this administration told those countries to do it because they can't do it here. So they're trying to nibble away at the reach and the exposure that X has so eventually that they can basically take it down because say what you want about Elon Musk, and I've had some issues with him, especially with this most recent suspension with Ordy that took forever. He calls himself the king of free speech until he removes wiffle ball bat Linda. I don't want to hear that because she still has controls of all the bells, whistles, switches, knobs, and dials, and she is still screwing with everything, because with the reach that we have on smaller accounts that I've just launched versus the reach I have on my main account, you can't tell me that there's still not throttling going on.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the monetization. I mean that's one of the things. I mean I would often get like, despondent when I was on Yoder, because even though I mean, yeah, with that small account, I still punch well above my weight. I think I just got a notification I had 87,000 impressions in the last month on Yoder, and I'm like, well, that's nice, but that's not the 2 million I get on Ordy. And so I was just like, no, I'm not going to remonetize because I'm still paying for the other account because I'm convinced you're going to unfuck yourself. But I know I said fuck Elon at the beginning of the show, but the more I think about it, is I can't get mad at Elon Musk for the way that Twitter is being run. It's like getting mad at Ronald McDonald when you get a bad cheeseburger. Neither of them actually run the fucking company.
No, and that's true, but he was the one who made the decision to put her in charge.
Well, no, that's absolutely correct. So, like Trump, he doesn't hire the best people. But I think that was actually,
but they don't.
I think that was actually a to soften the blow of where he was taking X. It's like, okay, so we just completely removed. Again, I'm being more charitable to Musk than I probably should be, but it's like, okay, so we're removing some of the shackles that Jack fucking Dorsey put on people on Twitter, but I still have to appease the military industrial entertainment complex a little bit. So here's your WEF chick, and she's going to run things for a while, but I'm going to give her mandates that, like lawful but awful is still allowed on Twitter. But that's just kind of like a guideline, not a rule. And she can parrot it all she wants, but we all know that that's not true.
Yeah. Ugh.
Because believe me, all of these were put in appeal letters. I mean, I took everything Musk has said about Twitter, and it was brought up to my point. They're like, well, he can't post anything on Twitter unless it's vetted by a lawyer. That's true, but it's only in regards to Tesla.
See, I didn't know that.
That's what the SEC. That's what the SEC put on, because Tesla stockholders were a little nervous at the beginning. So, but since he's a sole proprietor of Twitter, he can say whatever the fuck he wants about it and doesn't have to be vetted. This was brought to my attention by greater legal minds than me. I'm just an Amish lawyer.
Amish lawyer who rake fights on the weekends.
And
most holidays.
And most holidays. And Thursdays when I'm not on with Brad.
But yeah, so that's the gist of the Emhoff story. I would have found the link, but it's kind of pointless because that's really about all. That's really about all.
Didn't care that much. I just wanted to know.
But yeah, that's where the whole slap a bitch thing came from. Because one of the first things I saw was people using that side-eye meme from Vance and making up, different abuse stories and be like, when such and such says this and it's wrong. I was like, you guys are just evil, but I was still laughing, which probably makes me just as evil. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. I never left my final thoughts with Gene, because I was actually going to say send lawyers, guns, and money.
He kind of got pretty quick on the theme song there, so
yeah.
But then again,
that was a fun invasion, though. Gene, thanks for having us on. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, I think the tip of the hat to me was when the regular co-host was like, "You guys kicked ass tonight." I'm like, "Thanks."
Yeah, the regular co-host is spamming in chat. It's like, just come on. I mean, we're here because you're not, but yeah. So.
And then he's like, "But I'm in my underwear." I'm like, "That's never stopped me before."
Right. That's I'm in my underwear. I'm not even in my underwear right now.
Wait, this is now contractually required. Just saying.
Giggity giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
I mean, it is your birthday, so this would be the perfect time to be in your birthday suit. So,
but this is every day.
Oh, so see, now we're crossing lines.
Yeah. See,
See,
we've gone from cute and quirky to awkward.
Awkward. Oh, but yeah.
And I've only
so
had a beer and a half tonight.
only a beer and a half. Wait, you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
How big of a beer?
12.
Okay, so about
It's in a 16-ounce mug. So does that count?
nice. Sort of. So I found this interesting. I found this on PJ Media a second ago, and this is from Matt Margolis. You guys are getting a sneak peek behind the VIP paywall. So if you don't have VIP yet, you should probably consider it. Just saying, because I work for Town Hall. Kamala may have torpedoed her campaign with this move. It hasn't been a great week for Kamala Hamasnik. My line, not his. Donald Trump is gaining ground in battleground state polling, and her indifference to the victims of Hurricane Helene received criticism from both sides of the aisle. On top of that, her running mate, Tim Walz, flopped. No, he belly flopped. It wasn't just a flop. He like triple Lindy'd and then hit with a belly flop. In his debate with J.D. Vance, and there is the freshly broken story about her husband, Doug Imhoff, physically assaulting a woman back in 2012. None of these stories bode well for her, but something else may end up tanking her bid for the presidency. On Tuesday, port workers launched their first strike since 1977, affecting operations at U.S. Atlantic and Gulf of Mexico ports. The International Longshoremen's Association, otherwise known as the ILA, and the United States Maritime Alliance, USMX, have effectively shut down these critical hubs, disrupting a key part of the nation's supply chain. Economic impact of this is expected to be severe, potentially costing billions daily and worsening inflation. This is terrible timing for Harris just weeks before the presidential election, especially since Joe Biden chose not to intervene, which was a dumbass fucking move, by the way, despite having the authority to halt the strike under the Taft-Hartley Act. So I'm not going to keep reading it because that kind of gives you the gist of it. But I want to make this point because I've been trying to make it all day. I was assured there would be no chaos if we let the adults back into the room.
Okay, that wasn't a dumb move by Biden.
I think it was.
No, he tactically did that. We all know he's got the super bitters about not being allowed to run, about being told to step down. That's why he keeps, as far as Kamala tries to run away from being the incumbent of the administration, he keeps dragging her back in versus, via token McCarpet muncher.
I see.
So not calling in, for mediation, not calling in for negotiation, letting this rest on her is absolutely one, and I'm sure we're going to see many more fuck yous on his way out the door. And I think that if she does happen to win, every interview with him is going to be about how terrible she is after the fact. So if for some reason they're able to pull off a win, and I cannot see a path to their winning. I really can't. If they were winning, they wouldn't be shooting at Trump.
Well, I mean, and that's just it, right? I mean, there was the debate with Biden that didn't go well, so they tried to kill him. There was the debate with Harris that didn't go well, so they tried to kill him. There was the debate with Walz that was absolutely terrible. So now you've got fucking Jack What's-His-Nuts that just released, of course, a redacted filing, but like 110, 120 some odd pages of his entire case against Trump in redacted form, just to get it out to the media and out in the public consumption before the election, because the trial, if it happens at all, would have been after the election. And you want to talk to me about election interference? Seriously?
Right.
I mean, why is it okay when they interfere in elections? Because they've been interfering in the election now for months. They are well past the point where all of this stuff should have just stopped. And that's why a lot of the judges have been like, we're going to push all this back till after the election because I don't want anybody coming to me and saying that I interfered with the election. And you've got these diehard judges that are like, bring it. I don't care what happens. Because they have bought the narrative. They are saving democracy from the Nazis. Which side is violently protesting against Jews right now? Because I'm pretty sure it's not ours. Pretty sure it's not ours. I mean, let's just use common sense. I mean, this goes back to the same thing I was talking about earlier. Everything the left has been saying and doing for the last several months is basically the epitome of the line from 1984. The last great thing that they did was tell you not to believe what you saw and heard with your own eyes. And I'm butchering the quote, but it's close enough to get the point across because that's where we are. They cheated in front of the entire world just a couple of months ago, and their side didn't give a crap. They've cheated now. This is the third election in a row where they've cheated, and each time they've cheated, it's gotten worse. They torpedoed Bernie Sanders not once, but twice because the electorate wanted him, even though the leadership didn't. So they changed their rules not once, but twice to make sure that he couldn't get any of the superdelegates to push him over the line.
Yeah, they bought him a house and a ski lodge. He's fine.
Well, yeah, I know he took a payoff over it, but it's still not the point of you can't tell me that when they're openly and blatantly cheating that 2020 was obviously above board. You know the one part that nobody talks about, and the only people I ever hear bring it up are attorneys like Gene, because he said it last night, and he said it multiple times when he's been on with us and on his own show. Everybody talks about how there was no evidence of cheating because the judges didn't find anything, blah, 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 blah. That's not true. Every single one of those cases that was brought was dismissed, but it wasn't for lack of evidence. It was for lack of standing.
Right.
So you explain, you riddle me this though, real quick. How is it that a citizen of the United States that is technically supposed to be over the people that are in Washington, D.C., doesn't have standing to bring a suit about an election?
Well, they do, and that's just, again, judicial fuckery. But yeah, anybody in America could have brought that suit and had standing.
I mean, and that should have been the case, but it wasn't. So this is again another media spin that nobody's pushing back on. This is why I really like the fact that because they keep and I brought this up on Gene's show and I've talked about it today, but I love the fact that because they keep bringing it up in his face, Vance just says, "Hey, yes, I thought he was terrible at first, and then I saw what he was doing, and then I realized it was working. So my opinion of him has grown. It has changed. It has evolved. You guys might want to consider that." In my opinion, this has been a misstep from the campaign. They should have been leading with this part of the message because there are plenty of people on the fence, just like I was till they started shooting at him, where I was like, you know what? I'm going to probably vote for him, but I really wish they would have picked somebody else. Now that they've been shooting at him, I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to vote for the dude that they obviously don't want in office because they're willing to do anything to keep him out. And that tells me everything I need to know. But there are other people that have basically since the most recent thing where Iran was finally like, fuck it, we're going to throw missiles at Israel. This is now what, the second time, I think? And with finding out how dangerously close they are to nuclear weapons and everything else, I've seen people all over X that have been like, yeah, I'm not on the fence anymore because I'm not worried about the countries that have a bunch of nuclear weapons. I'm worried about countries like Iran that decide to get one because we know they're going to use it.
Right.
And I mean, that is a salient point. I mean, especially when you look at everything that's going on around the world right now. The entire world is in chaos. We're just starting to recover from the fuckery from the pandemic. Now you've got all of the shit going on in the Middle East. You've got Saudi Arabia divesting from American currency and starting to use their own currency to buy oil. You've got China trying to push the yuan now as the world currency and move away from the dollar because our economy's fucked and everybody knows it. I mean, there are so many things that have us so close to a tipping point that nobody wants to talk about. And that's why, and I know this has been an overused phrase for as long as I have been doing this, but with as bad as everything is, and with as much control as they currently have, and with as much as Barack Obama fundamentally transformed America, which is exactly what he said he was going to do, just not in the way anybody thought, and Trump managed to slam on the brakes at least for 4 years. If we don't change course, we're not going to be around much longer. And it's just that there's no way around it because they're dangerously close to getting everything that they want. And here's a newsflash. They need the Western world to destabilize to be able to do what they want. And that's why they're doing everything they can do to destabilize it.
Yeah, but again, I've had some time to catch up on some YouTube videos and watching the some of the military channels. China's got some big problems with India right now. They've kind of pushed a little too far into some areas, and I think India can take them.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying China is the big bad that everybody's saying that it is, but we definitely need to, if nothing else, for national security reasons, because of everything that we're going through right now with this port strike, start making shit at home again.
Well, yeah, we never should stop that. But remember who said it. Remember who said for the last 4 years that Russia was a paper tiger. And thank you, Ukraine, for proving that out for me. Now, I'm going to say China is a paper tiger too, and China is going to go broke before we are. Because their whole road and belt thing, that's just free infrastructure for people who hate them are going to say, thanks, now get the fuck out.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying, but my point is, if we don't change course here, it's not really going to matter what happens with China.
No,
because we're. I mean, like I said, at this point,
yeah, but what kind of American are you?
Exactly. Speaking of which, I still haven't.
But what
made
kind of retard are you?
How retarded are you exactly? Well, you see what had happened was. But no, I mean, look, and again, I know this is the most overused trite statement in history, and I hate saying it too, but the simple fact of the matter is, if we get 4 more years of the last 4 years, I don't know if we're gonna make it the next 4 years. Because, I mean, dude, you've already seen both of them cozying up with Spooky Dude Jr. That is a terrifying thought in and of itself, and 10 years ago would have ended a campaign.
That's because everybody forgets who Spooky Dude was. Because you're not allowed to invoke him otherwise they'll scream anti-Semitism at you.
Well, since their side is currently, trapping Jews in schools and trying to kill them, I think I'm gonna invoke Spooky Dude and say, fuck you.
Right.
I think your anti-Semitism trumps my anti-Semitism, so fuck you. And yes, pun intended. So, how was your birthday?
Hi. Was that?
How was your birthday? How was your birthday?
Well, I worked most of it, but it was pretty good. I got home to a whole bunch of well-wishers, and I'm so okay. You those of you who don't know me, those of you who have been around for a while, you know that I will respond to everybody in time. So coming back to 500, woo, your backs, and woo, happy birthdays. I'm still going through my feed from 11 hours ago, but it's awesome.
Your
It's
love, man.
It's one of those things. It's like, I mean, it's even when I was on Yoder, and like I just talked about a few minutes ago, I got some traction, some people, but still, it's really, suspension is demoralizing because it's especially if you're used to a level of engagement, and then your nuts are shorn. Then it's just kind of like you're sitting in a vacuum for a while. And I had to really claw with Yoder to get back to interactions, because even my friends wouldn't see me because I hadn't used that account in several months. So I think the algorithm resets and just pushes me down to where like I could reply to you or Jeff or anybody else, and you probably wouldn't see my reply on your main.
Oh yeah, that was happening all the time. I even turned on notifications for you, and I still didn't see half your stuff.
Yeah. So, and that's when I'm like, it's them not even knowing, I mean, officially that Yoder was me. It's still like, no, we're still punishing you. So, it's just kind of like demoralizing. It's like, even my friends don't fucking care that I'm out anymore. But you figure out, no, they just can't see you. So, yeah. But no, back, really happy about it. Connecting with people who didn't follow Yoder and yet, and just happy to be back, man. It was a pretty cool birthday present. Waking up this morning and seeing that my account was reinstated at 1 a.m. local, I'm like, okay, I don't believe in conspiracies, but actually I do. I do a show on them. So I don't believe in coincidences.
Whatever, Jeff. You're not that alone on X. He's like, sitting in a vacuum is my X feed for the last 12 years. I don't believe that, sir.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. You shouldn't sell it.
Oh, all right. So we've officially reached the point in the program where we typically discuss what we're watching. Have you been watching anything?
Again, watching a lot of YouTube videos, and there's a channel that Jeff and I talk about a lot, just Yo-Yo Camp. She's a South Korean gadget camper. It's a lot of AMSR, rainy camping and stuff like that. But still kind of cool to see like the cool camping gear they have in South Korea, and you wish you could get it here. That's why I invested in the South Korean version of Amazon. Anyway, so that completely I mean, I watch her from time to time between her and Wildberry, who's a totally different kind of camper. And both of them are smoke shows, but not thirst. And so I watched a couple episodes of Yo-Yo Camp the other night, and now my YouTube feed is completely polluted with Japanese and South Korean thirst campers. And I've come to the conclusion, I've reinforced my conclusion that South Korean women are way hotter than Japanese women.
Stick around.
Felt appropriate.
So, no, it totally tracks. But my recommendations are completely fucked up right now.
I mean, mine are still weird from the show research from the other day. So
mine is always fucked up from show research. And this weekend, when I drop you the links that I have for the stories for this weekend, it's going to completely fuck up but in a good way.
It usually does, but that's all right. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, mine's weird anyway, because it's like 1 second it's like going down some rabbit hole about whatever we're researching for juxtaposition. Then I've got all these political things that are showing up, and my feed is just like so schizophrenic. It's amazing.
Soon it will all just be Russell Brand. Because that's the nexus of all.
That dude kind of creeps me out. Am I alone in that, or is that
nah, he did, but I actually buy into. I believe that his not just his awakening, but also his spiritual awakening is sincere. So, I think I think it's being dialed down a bit. I mean, he's still fun, but yeah, he was recently baptized. If you didn't know, so.
Yeah, no, I mean it's been fun. It's been fun to watch but still, it was just which actually I didn't know he'd been recently baptized. That's interesting. But
yeah, he's one of those who's mocked Christianity for so long. He actually realized, you know what, my spiritual journey has always been leading me this way. So
it's funny how often that actually happens to a lot of folks, though. It's like the ones that are running the hardest from it are usually the ones that are smacked in the face with it. Like, okay, I get it now. No, Zelda, I'm not calling you out. Don't say anything. But yeah, no, I mean, for me, I think the last episode of this season for the Ark dropped a little bit ago, so I'll probably be watching that when I get ready to go to sleep. I haven't really been watching much of anything else lately because, I don't know what happened. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know what happened because I was fine Saturday night when we did Jux. And then Sunday, we wound up staying home from church because Gracie got stung by a bee at the wedding. And then the next thing I know, I was down, dude. I mean, I was in so much pain that even my teeth hurt. And I couldn't figure it out. And I was that way for like a day and a half. Now I'm fine. I mean, I'm having to take my prescription muscle relaxers and probably will be for a few days because I don't know what caused the fit, but they're actually helping again where they weren't doing anything for like a day and a half. So I was pissed because it was like the end of the month and there was tons of things that I needed to do. And I'm laying in bed going, I can't even get up. I don't understand what the hell's happening. And I'm just like, okay, fine, whatever. I'm just going to ride this out till I feel better and then get up and go back to work. But that's kind of when I've made the executive decision that I have to have at least one mostly day off, even if I come in and push buttons for the ladies that are red wine Monday night. Mondays are going to be my day to either do housework around here or catch up on writing that has been falling by the wayside while we keep building things over here. Because there's just not enough time in the day, especially now that I'm having to play grandpa bus driver, which I absolutely love for Gracie, who's in pre-K. I don't mind doing it. It's chewing up about 2 extra hours of my day that I used to use to write stories. And I'm like, I don't have any time to do anything anymore. I do a radio show. I go get her. I come home. I fix dinner. I do more radio shows. I try to find time to write a story, and it's time to go to bed. Be glad when the election. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I have occasionally watched a little bit of TV. I mean, during the time that I was down for that, actually starting on Saturday, I did try to unplug a little bit. So I turned on Battlestar Galactica '04, and it was basically on for pretty much the entire time I was down, whether I was awake or asleep. And most of the time it was background noise because I'm just laying there going, please just let me stop hurting for 5 minutes. It would be lovely. And yeah, but I forgot how much I actually liked that show. It's hard to believe. Hard to believe it's 20 years old though, too.
Yeah.
But anyway. But yeah, other than that, haven't really been watching much except for trying to keep up with the news cycles, which seems like anymore is a full-time job, even though it is technically my full-time job. So now it feels like I have 2 full-time jobs just trying to keep up with the news. Fun times. Fun times.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but it seems like work has started slowing down this week.
You better find some wood and knock on it fast, my friend.
Yeah, I did. But you know, so that way I can,
That wasn't what I meant. Just kidding.
Don't judge me. Don't kink shame me.
You walked into that one. I'm not even sorry.
Yeah, I know I did. No, it's it seems like it's slow. So I've got other projects I've wanted to get started, and I mean, I really want to. Yeah, so I'm hoping this is a trend, and then maybe I can start watching TV again. But there's really, I mean, is there even anything good on anymore? Don't say Discovery because I will just bitch slap you, and don't say Picard.
I do still think you should watch Picard season 3, only
No.
because of all the fan member berries.
No,
but I mean that's up to you.
I will not give Kurtzman Trek. I will not give Kurtzman Trek the satisfaction of a click.
I mean, if you're not watching Strange New Worlds just for Anson Mount alone, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, but I could watch Hell on Wheels again for that. I mean, I'm not gay, but he is quite a handsome man, isn't he?
I just can't believe it took me like an entire half season to realize who it was. Like, this was
like butter.
Well, this is in Discovery season 2. He basically took over command of the Discovery for all of season 2, and it took me 5 episodes to realize who it was because he didn't look anything like the character that he played in Hell on Wheels, which was my only real exposure to him. And I'm like, wait, why do I recognize that name? And it was driving me nuts because I'm like, I see the name. I know I've seen it before. Where the hell have I seen it? And then it made me realize that Hell on Wheels might actually be another one of those holodeck program shows everybody talks about.
Oh, there you go.
Because Captain Kirk and Miles O'Brien were both on the show at the same time. I'm just saying.
You mean
just saying.
Not Captain Kirk, fucking
not Captain Pike.
Captain Pike.
Yeah. Not Captain Kirk, Captain Pike. See, told you I'm tired. So
well, then let's wrap it up then.
We have 353 people that came to tell you happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, that's awesome.
Although you're kicking my ass on your feed. I don't know how I feel about that.
Well,
not really by much. Because I always promote the KLR radio feed. So I only got like 20 on mine and I got 104 on the KLR.
I only promoted the KLRN feed too. I just posted on my. Yeah, this is why I keep saying I can punch above my weight. I don't know why, but I can.
Yeah, you'd figure if anybody was being throttled on this site, it would be you. But I guess they just throw you off instead.
Right. Yeah, I mean, somebody mentioned something today, and one of the replies I'm going to think about is going back on monetization and saying, so now that I have admittance for Twitter support saying they wrongfully suspended me, let's talk about the last 3 months where you denied me my monetization during 2 assassination attempts.
Yeah, I think y'all owe me some back pay since I was wrongfully suspended.
Yeah, and I think that given the events of the last few months where I would have been much, much higher, tortious interference. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, you do potentially have a case, but
we'll see.
I've got to figure out how to
I'm not going to go the lawyer route, and but I'm just going to be the hey guys.
So wait,
You
since
done
you're not
fucked up. You're gonna make this whole or what?
so you're not going the lawyer's route. So does that mean you're going the guns and money route?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Thanks, Danny. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Oh, all right, man. Where can folks find you? Because I've done 6 hours of this now today.
Oh, let's see. You can find me tomorrow on the Culture Shift with Brad with the great hair. Right here on KLRN Radio. You can find me Saturday with you doing juxtaposition as we continue our deep dive into vampirism. Next week, I believe there's a Manorama that we're all supposed to be on, and
as far as I know,
channel, and then back around the horn with you on next Wednesday here, right here.
All right, I'm going to do the abbreviated version because I want to go to bed. You can follow along with me at RadioVic73, the station at KLRN Radio. You can follow along with our new news branch arm at Digital Beacon US. You can find me here tomorrow afternoon and Friday afternoon doing the Rick Robinson Show from noon to 3. You can find me tomorrow night doing Jen and Rick, 10 p.m. Eastern. You can find me Friday night doing He Said, She Said with Aggie Rican. Then I'll be doing the production work for Front Porch Forensics starting at, I think, 10 p.m., 9 p.m. Eastern, I think. I always get that time mixed up because I always confuse them and the red one. And then you and I will kick off 90 minutes after them, and we will do our Juxtober second edition of Vampirism. And then I'll be back around doing America Off the Rails on Sunday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern.
Program director says 9 p.m.
9 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, I know. He's been correcting me all day. But it's his job now, so he hates me. Anyway, we're going to get out of here. So yeah, I do want to plug that because I haven't not been doing that. So he's doing an episode of Rangs before Front Porch Forensic. So make sure you guys tune in for that. That's at 8 Eastern. Front Porch Forensic, it's at 9, and then Jux at a slightly different time than usual at 10:30. Because we're splitting time on our off weeks, and there will at some point be a crossover with us and Front Porch Forensics. I just haven't figured out when we're going to do that. Hey, you're all already to the last one of the season? Nice. And you survived.
But did his liver.
Hey, I'm not his doctor. I don't know the answer to that question. Only his doctor would know the answer to that question. All right, we're going to get out of here, folks. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Awesome night here on KLRN Radio and the crossover, with Behind Enemy Lines, and us actually pushed Gene over 100 on his own X feed. And as far as I know, that hasn't happened before. So you guys are amazing. Thank you for your turnout. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for hanging out with us. And if you are so inclined and would like to spread the word, you can always go to klrnradio.com/store. Purchase some merch, wear it around, show your friends, all that fun stuff. Even the free Ordy shirts never go out of style because you never know when he's going to disappear again because he always uses retard like a comma.
But that's okay now.
They say it's okay now. But the interesting thing as we close out the night is right around the same time you got released from Camp X-Ray, our favorite Grouch got thrown in Camp X-Ray. I've never seen you two in the same place at the same time, and I'm starting to have questions.
Well, that's because we use a voice modulator. I mean, no, we're totally different people. And
bye, everybody.
Thanks, you were great. Hail Hydra.
No hailing of the Hydra. We've had this discussion.
Send lawyers, guns, and money. Dad, get me out of this. Ha!